gang, this is it. This is the start of either something awesome or something dumb. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Brad, and I drive an FMod in SCCA autocross. Just recently at Nationals this year, the car broke in half, for lack of a better way to phrase that. We had some major frame cracks. The car has been in continuous development for many, many years now, and I've kind of come to the realization that trying to continue to adapt and modify the existing frame that's on the car, there's just some diminishing returns and there's a lot of risk involved. And that kind of bit us at Nationals this year, at the big main competition this year. Some of the original steel that is 30 plus years old in the car, I think is what broke first, and that kind of led to a cascade of failures that ended our competition early, but luckily through a lot of help from friends and acquaintances and strangers, managed to get the car back together and compete. So that part is awesome. Just love the family that's within SCCA. So anyway, that brings me to where I stand right now, which is this car is going away. I've been talking about it for a long time, but do basically a ground up design and build for FMod. So a little bit backstory on FMod. For people who don't know, it is based off of a road racing platform called F500. F500 or F5 is a class within SCCA road racing that is 2-stroke and 4-stroke engines, open wheel formula car, looks just like an FMod in autocross. They require a few different things, like a crushable structure up front for front impacts, a little bit stricter safety requirements as far as how the frame fits the driver, as far as overhead, roll bar clearance over the head, and fire suppression, some things like that for safety. But as far as performance envelope, very similar to FMod. So FMod, F500, pretty much the same thing. So that being said, most FMod cars, all FMod cars that I know of, have been repurposed from an F500. I can't think of a single FMod that was built from the ground up to be FMod. And I'll dive into that in a little bit about what I think the differences are, but I do think it's an important and interesting distinction to make because this might be the first one. I don't know, unless somebody else out there knows of one. This will definitely be the first one that I know of that's been raced competitively nationally. So who knows? I say competitive, maybe we're not going to be competitive, but we'll find out. So anyway, this is going to be kind of my blog. This is going to be kind of my documentation of the whole build. So I'll be going through some of the design decisions that we're making right now between me and kind of the team that I race with, Dane Wheeler and Andy Wolf, and some of my friends that are I'm leaning on a little bit to kind of just pick their brains a little bit. So those design decisions are being made right now as far as what the front geometry looks like, kind of the driver seating position, and how that affects not only visibility for the driver, but also center of gravity for the car, and kind of the give and take that you make with all these things that happen with race car design, right? Everything's a compromise. So it'll be interesting. So right now, this engine is going away. It's been sold. Both my engines, which are kind of the older 494 series engines, which haven't been made since, I think they stopped making them in 2000, are going away. And we're going to get a more modern power plant in the car. I don't think it's going to make tremendously more power, but the parts availability is starting to become kind of an issue. And since our car gets driven a lot with a lot of different drivers and a lot of different events, making sure that I have something that can kind of keep up and running and updated is somewhat important. So anyway, that's kind of the introduction, and we'll be starting with, like I said, some of the design stuff as I get it figured out. I'm really close right now with the front geometry, which also dictates I'm going to be making new uprights, even though I just made new ones for this car. I'll be kind of tweaking those a little bit, making them fit with the new geometry decisions that we're making with the car, and then have to come back through and kind of revisit the rear geometry and the rear suspension. So our rear suspension that's on this car has been on here for quite a few years now, and it works really well. So we're going to change it, right? Which makes no sense whatsoever, but except for I'm going to try to condense and shrink down the packaging on it, trying to obviously cut weight wherever we can without sacrificing reliability and strength, but cut weight as much as possible so that we can kind of like keep squishing all that weight in the center. Polar moment of inertia is probably something that you'll be hearing me preach throughout the entire build, is trying to get all that weight centralized in the car so that we don't have a bunch of weight hanging out in front of the nose, out behind the rear axle. We want to get everything in the middle. So, all right, that's about it for now. I've got to get some work done and get this engine out of here, and hopefully next time you see me, it will either be with, well, definitely with the engine out, but hopefully with some more stuff cleared away and maybe something to show on the suspension. Catch you later. Bye.